We're answering questions.
You're answering questions? Wait a minute.
Under our door.
Come back. You're answering questions. Over
It's
here.
on the window you went.
Okay. So we can ask a socialist or feminist or felon. Is that right?
Correct.
So what are you guys doing here?
I'm about to ask a Catholic a question.
What do you think you're gonna ask?
I'm gonna ask him about confession. I don't really understand it. Like, is it something that you can just commit crimes and sins and then go confess it over and over and over again? Or do you have to, like, believe that you're truly trying to repent for the crime every time?
That wouldn't really work, probably because in that case, I'm guessing whoever would do that wouldn't truly be repentant. But confession doesn't work unless you're really sad that you did it and repentant. If you are, it's really unlikely you're going to go out and do it again right away.
When you look out at the scene around you, what it is that you see, how you make sense of it, and what do you think it has to do with broader, longer, deeper changes that are happening in Oakland?
Right here?
I mean, ignoring us,
Not
the
this,
camera.
not these four square feet.
I mean,
Like all
This
this.
happened along Telegraph tonight.
Obviously it's growing. The question is what it's growing into. That's why we're here. Because when they started, it was just like a zine and some zines at a table. And it was really easy to interact with people because everyone was there for the art galleries. But as it grew, it turned into MC battles and taekwondo demonstrations and just drunk people walking down the street. And people standing at a table with zines kind of was like, no one's paying attention to you anymore. If you have a clipboard, forget it. So we wanted to kind of expand with that and make sure that a presence that talks to the people and talks about issues and talks about identity is still seen and still heard. Aside from, I mean, people can freestyle battle and drink all they want, but as long as there's still dialogue going on, it keeps the community vital and it keeps it an actual community and not just consumers.
so do you see this as a community?
Do I see this as a community? Yes.
In what sense? Who is the community? How would you define it? How would you
Well,
bound
I've seen different, I've seen every race, I've seen every age. So I think as long as it's like still, it's not like pigeonholed into one thing. I don't know about the economic thing because everyone's just dressed like they're dressed 'cause it's Friday night. So, but it does seem like it's a place where different people are coming to converge, whether they're coming for food or they're coming for the free wine or they're coming to watch art or they're coming to talk to crazy people in a tent or they're coming to buy something.
I mean, I have issues with it. I love this. I think it's great fun. It's always like interesting things going on. But the things that I find are interesting are actually usually like the weird, spontaneous kind of things that happen. It also worries me a little bit that it's like this community that's not really benefiting from this. You know, like this kind of takes over this community, and the people that live here aren't really getting much of a benefit from it. You know,
that are like ask a Catholic, ask a felon, ask a socialist, ask a felon. And he was speaking to the socialist, and
it was fun. It was kind of like what I kind of imagined this project being. It's like
when I'm not looking.
random arguments with people. So how often do you get to do that in like a safe, environment? Like people feel inhibited about that. Me, not always, but most of the time. So.
They find heroin or a cell phone.
What
question do you wish people were asking?
Well, I had somebody actually ask that question, and I said that I wish people would ask more about like what's my utopian vision, because like it's kind of like actually a no-no for socialists to talk about like utopia. Like it's kind of like you're supposed to say concrete and like real things, because people already think you're nutty enough as it is. But I actually like that aspect of it too. I think it's important to have like a larger vision, even if you kind of acknowledge like there's nothing, you can't really plan for the future, especially if you want like a democratic future. It's going to be up to people at that time to decide things. You can't like come up with dictates from the past and tell them what to do. So, but I do like talking about that, like what the possibilities are in life, how things right now could be different. And so a couple people have asked that, but I wish I was getting more questions like that.
Really cautious. I don't now. He's got married and he's got a house now. So he would have to break in. But no one didn't have a weapon.
So you were talking to the socialist. What did you think? Was it useful?
Yeah, I thought he was great. He does Cop Watch, which I used to be active in Portland.
I'm sorry, what was it?
Cop Watch. So I was fascinated by his interpretation of that, and I asked him what inspired him, and he said Malcolm X. He's got it.
What would sex be like in a socialist or a communist society,
It has to be different.
Yeah, but I mean, because like you think about all the adverts we have right now, right? That sort of tell us like what it is to be, or influence our ideas about what it is to be attractive, and there's a huge amount of profit motive, right? Because it's like they want to make things that make them a lot of money look attractive, right? So that's kind of an interesting. It's almost really hard to like imagine what it would be like, if instead of say a lot of the space that we see was bought up by corporations, instead if like just everyday people were able to use that space to put up art or interesting ideas, or and I think there's also this way in which a society based on like property with private property, it changes how people think about sex. I mean, like sex in like societies without relations to private property is very different. Like I think it might be kind of liberating, I think this sort of private property influences the way we think about partners and things like that.
Pope said there's no limbo. Where did all those babies go?
I'm not an expert on that issue.
But so what did the Catholic Church say about limbo?
I'd say I don't know. What would you want people to be asking you right now?
Like how my Catholicism affects my voting. That would be cool.
How does it affect your voting?
Well, it makes it hard to feel good to vote for anything, really, to vote for either side.
In a nutshell, why?
Because, like, I am pro-life and I'm against abortion and also against, like, forcing the Catholic Church to do things it doesn't want to do. But I am also against really bad leadership and horrible economic policies and war. And it doesn't feel good to have to split up what I like,
Do you feel like being pro-life, do you feel like it's understood? Do people get what it means? Or
No, because pro-life is too much associated with abortion. Because it's not an issue, it's about being actually wanting life, like pro-life. It has spiritual connotations too, that word life for us. But we don't have to go there. But like, for instance, being pro-life might, if you think about it a little bit critically, you might need to vote for Obama because of those economic reasons. Perhaps horrible economic downfall would cause more people to die, especially fetuses. Like, that's being pro-life. It's not about the political issue per se. That's not understood. And also, I think the Catholic bishops are guilty of this. A lot of people in the Catholic Church, they glom onto the politics of this single issue in horrible ways.
The owner?
And what's the most interesting question you got asked so far?
Why are you misconceptions about us, us as a group, and I guess I wanted people to ask questions so they wouldn't have to be as woefully misinformed as I think they are. People are.
Did you get a chance to write some of those misconceptions? Did people ask you?
I hope so.
Yeah. What was the strangest question you got?
Why are you so angry?
Really?
Yeah.
What did you say?
We're not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah. So. Okay. How did it feel being behind the window? Was it exciting?
It
did you
was.
have a good time?
Yeah. No, I had a good time. It was kind of felt like you're a little bit like in a fishbowl, kind of on display type of thing, but it was good.
Mind giving
Oral? I don't. I mean, honestly, I think that if you love someone, you want them to be happy. You want to give them pleasure, right? I mean, I think that most men probably feel the same way. It's not about evening the score, you know?
Yeah, I guess you got it. I put it in my mind. Alright, so y'all had missed the question. She gave the answer.
What should you eat?
Yeah.
You should bring a grill. Yeah.
Should I stay married to my husband?
Oh no. Go to the beach with him tomorrow.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. It's a grill. Yeah, you're welcome.
All championships are based around that. So that being basis.
How do you feel about representing artists right now? Do you feel like you're an authority on being an artist?
No, not at all. I think I'm constantly learning.
Yeah.
I think I'm only 21 and I have the obligation to learn from every other artist, whether I think they are working at a caliber that I should aspire to be at or not. Because every person has a light that I can draw from. And if I don't draw from it, then I've only crippled myself.
How long have you been an artist?
Since I was 14, about 7 years.
Okay.
But I think every artist I think everyone's an artist.
Okay.
And I think it's the moment when you realize you are.
Yeah.
And I think I realized I was when I was 14.
Do you think you can be an artist even if you haven't made art in 20 years? You haven't done anything that you consider to be artistic? Can you still say I'm an artist?
I think so, and here's why. My first interim into art was fiction writing and poetry. And I had a Roger Bonaire Agard, a very great poet, tell me that your life is the poem. And so just because you're not creating, just because you're not putting out a ton of poems, doesn't mean that you're not writing poems. You write poems every day in the way you live.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah?
I'm employed. I'm a temp. I'm a perpetual temp because human resources hired someone at the place I work who was a felon who got hired under a fake name and then he re-offended. So now they're gun shy.
Yeah.
There's someone else who's been there longer than me, and he is not hired either. And we're in the same boat. We're like high up on the hierarchy. Like we know how to run machinery. We're one of the most trusted employees there, but we're still temps.
Well, I wish you luck.
As a black woman, what do you think about obstructionism in Congress these days?
I think that for people who aren't marginalized in a way, I think it's not a big deal for them. I don't think that their livelihoods are at stake, so it's fine to like not really work anything out or not be compromising in any way or not trying to actually get anything done. It's comfortable for white upper class men to not work towards solutions that would affect people that are marginalized in the same way that a black woman is.
Well, that actually links to my question. You guys know each other outside of this room.
Yeah, we do. We actually, there's a couple other people.
You know, I was in San Quentin myself.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that? You know, the death penalty.
Death penalty, it's tricky because the offenses, usually they came up with it because the offenses that people were committing were so severe they decided to do it. But then you're just kind of, it's the same thing to punish them.
So they surveyed them, and I guess 15% of them
of the people
of the condemned inmates on in the East Block in San Quentin said that they would rather go ahead and go through, or rather 85% of them said they would rather go ahead and go through with the death penalty and take the crime. 50% said no.
Death row is just horrible. They don't have the same privileges. But if they have life, I think they get, I can't remember, I read about it in the Title 15 a long time ago. I think it's more packages and things like that. I think you can get visits, conjugal visits. Death row, you can't get any of that stuff.
Special razors.
Yeah.
And you get
so
your
they would
tray.
probably like to be able to get those things if they're just going to just grow old and die like the life raft.
Right.
And I don't think, I mean, if they have people that want to be in contact with them even though they're on death row, I would say that's on them. I mean, if they want to be in contact with a person, I don't have a problem with it. So they should have privileges. They are.
Are you still on paperwork?
I am. I was given non-revocable parole and they realized I wasn't eligible 7 months later and they put me on paperwork. I got until 2014 in March.
I wish you the best of luck, man. From one parolee to another, man. I did it, man. I got my discharge card. I kept it in my wallet for 2 years. You know, it was like, you know, it was a blessing, you know.
Exactly.
And life goes on, man. And one more thing, I don't mean to hold the line, but how has it been for you getting a job out here?
I got a job 4 months after I paroled, actually. I signed up with a temp agency. It's kind of backbreaking, but I'm just saving up money for the next step. Exactly.
I can already tell that you are, man.
Thank you.
God bless
All right.
you, brother.
Good night.
Take care, man.
Sure.
Where people come together and are like, what can we do to change society? And then eventually, how can we take it over and run it? You know?
You think like so from what you just said, you think like socialism and democracy are mutually exclusive?
No, I think that a society where I have to go to work every day for 8 hours, otherwise I starve, and then my boss can tell me what I have to do every day. It's not democratic. It's like not democratic for half of my day, you know. And then somehow, you know, we have like a system where I have a choice of 2 corporate parties, you know. Like like, that's not democratic at all. It's like, these people don't represent me. And the people in City Hall don't represent me. One was like smashing my head and occupying me, you know? And so I think that even if there was some sort of pure kind of system of elections, if I feel like people do not have control of what we produce, how we produce it, you know, if they're not making those decisions, it's not a democratic society at all.
Great, thank you.
I don't even know if it's working since they're not actually doing it. Most of the inmates in death row are dying of natural causes.
It was amazing. It afforded me an opportunity that I've never had. It gave the space to talk to people I didn't know in a very casual way. Like most of the people I talked to, the Vanessa, the Joaquin, the other people I met, I would never talk to them normally. And so it gave the space to just have dialogue with people I've never met before.
Yeah. Was this your idea, or did you get dragged in?
No, I actually got dragged in. My friend Allison was like, "Yo, we should do that," and I was like, "Definitely. I mean, I support you. Why not?"
Okay. So anybody that stuck out to you that just like any questions right there?
I think Vanessa stood out. Vanessa asked me, and I hope I have her name right. Vanessa asked me, "Is there an afterlife?" And I felt like I really appreciated her question because it was not race specific or ethnic specific, although my sign was.
Yeah.
And so it automatically led to the idea that she wasn't worried about who I am as my skin color.
Oh yeah, so what was it, you did Ask an Artist and Ask a Black Man.
Right.
What was the difference in like the reaction?
I think people were afraid for Ask a Black Man. I think as soon as the Ask a Black Man went out, I saw a lot of people stand by from a distance, and I saw a lot of people collect behind one person's question, not willing to ask their own.
Yeah.
Ask an Artist, I felt like I received a lot of artists, but I got much more probing questions.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, thank you. It's a pleasure.
No problem. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, that's like.
Do you have questions?
I got answers.
Why?